Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we take you into one of the most important political rivalries in the history of the Indian subcontinent, a rivalry that shaped empires, defined borders, created legends, changed dynasties, and produced some of the most iconic stories of bravery, betrayal, diplomacy, and royal politics. Today we explore the long and complex relationship between the Mughals and the Rajputs, their wars, their alliances, their negotiations, and the power politics that continued for nearly 3 centuries. This is not just a story of battles. It is a story of pride, honor, survival, ambition, and the political game that shaped the destiny of India for generations. When the Mughals first entered India under the leadership of Zahir Din Babur, the Rajput kingdoms were among the strongest independent powers in northern India. They were proud warriors with deeply rooted traditions of honor, loyalty, and bravery. Their forts, such as Chittorgarh, Ranthambore, Kumbhalgarh, and Amber, were symbols of military power. On the other hand, the Mughals brought new military technology, cannons, gunpowder, artillery, and a centralized style of governance. From the very beginning, it was clear that the clash between these two powers would not be a small conflict. It would become one of the defining political struggles of the era. When Babur faced the Rajputs at the Battle of Khanwa in 1527, led by the powerful Rana Sanga of Mughal, it became a turning point in Mughal history. Rana Sanga was a respected warrior king who had united several Rajput clans with the dream of driving out foreign powers and restoring Rajput supremacy in North India. But Babur's use of field fortifications, matchlock guns, and cannons drastically changed the nature of battlefield tactics. The Rajputs, brave as always, fought fearlessly, but the Mughal artillery made all the difference. The defeat of Sanga at Khanwa opened the doors for Mughal consolidation in North India. Yet even after losing the battle, the Rajput pride did not collapse. Their resistance continued for decades, especially from the kingdom of Mughal, whose rulers refused to bow before the Mughals. After Babur and Humayun, the real chapter of Mughal-Rajput political maneuvering began under Emperor Akbar. Akbar understood something no other conqueror before him had realized. The Rajputs were not just warriors. They were influential political players whose cooperation was essential for stable rule over northern India. Instead of continuing endless wars, Akbar introduced a new strategy: diplomacy, alliances, and inclusion. He opened the doors of the Mughal court to Rajput rulers, offering them high positions, royal marriages, and autonomy in their own kingdoms, as long as they acknowledged Mughal supremacy. Many Rajputs accepted his offer, including the Kachwaha rulers of Amber, the family of Raja Barmal and his son Raja Man Singh. Their alliance with Akbar became one of the strongest political partnerships in Mughal history. Through this alliance, the Mughals gained experienced Rajput generals, loyal governors, and a stable political structure. Raja Man Singh became one of Akbar's most trusted commanders, leading Mughal armies in Afghanistan, Bengal, and the Deccan. These alliances greatly strengthened the Mughal Empire, allowing Akbar to expand his control over most of India. But not all Rajputs agreed to these alliances. Mughal, under Maharana Singh and later Maharana Pratap, rejected Mughal authority completely. Maharana Pratap became a symbol of Rajput resistance, refusing to bow to the Mughal emperor. His determination led to the famous Battle of Haldighati in 1576, where Raja Man Singh commanded the Mughal forces against him. This battle became legendary for its intensity and bravery on both sides. Although the Mughals won the field, Maharana Pratap escaped and continued guerrilla resistance from the Aravalli Mountains. His refusal to surrender became a defining moment in Rajput identity and honor. Even after losing resources and territory, he rebuilt his power and recovered parts of Mughal during his lifetime. After Akbar, Emperor Jahangir and Shah Jahan continued the Mughal-Rajput alliance model, relying heavily on Rajput nobles in the administration. Many Rajput aristocrats held titles such as Mansabdars, generals, and governors in the Mughal administrative system. The Mughal court became a blend of Persian, Central Asian, and Rajput cultural influences. Architecture also reflected this alliance. Forts and palaces built during this era mixed Mughal aesthetics with Rajput design. Diplomatically, this period was relatively stable, though small conflicts occurred between rival Rajput clans. But the balance shifted dramatically under Emperor Aurangzeb. Unlike Akbar, Aurangzeb did not favor political flexibility or cultural inclusiveness. He took a stricter approach, enforcing tighter control over Rajput kingdoms. The most major conflict erupted after the death of Jaswant Singh of Marwar, when Aurangzeb refused to recognize his infant son Ajit Singh as the rightful ruler. This triggered a long Rajput rebellion. Durgadas Rathore, one of the most loyal Rajput warriors, protected the infant prince and led a determined resistance against Mughal forces for many years. Mewar also rejoined the conflict, and both Rajput states fought fiercely for their independence. For nearly 30 years, the Mughals struggled to suppress the Rajput uprising. These wars drained Mughal resources, weakened central authority, and shifted the power balance. Aurangzeb's rigid policies broke the trust that had been built during Akbar's era. Although the Mughals were still strong militarily, the Rajputs' determination and knowledge of local terrain made the war extremely costly. By the late 1600s, the Rajputs regained much of their autonomy, and Mughal authority weakened significantly. The decline accelerated after Aurangzeb's death. With no strong emperor to maintain alliances, the Mughal-Rajput relationship shifted again. Rajput kingdoms, including Jaipur, Jodhpur, and Udaipur, regained their independence and began playing their own diplomatic games. Sometimes they supported Mughal princes in succession struggles, other times they remained neutral. Meanwhile, new powers like the Marathas began rising, further altering the political landscape. As the Mughal Empire continued to weaken, the Rajputs negotiated from a position of strength. Some Rajput kingdoms even expanded their territories. Their strategy now relied more on diplomacy than warfare. They used marriage politics, strategic partnerships, and their military strength to maintain autonomy. By the early 18th century, the Mughal court became heavily dependent on Rajput nobles for administrative and military support. But with the arrival of the British, the political landscape changed once again. The Rajputs, who had resisted the Mughals for centuries, now faced a new imperial power. The British used treaties and political pressure to weaken Indian states, including Rajput kingdoms. By the mid-19th century, most Rajput states were under indirect British rule, though they retained symbolic autonomy. Meanwhile, the once powerful Mughal Empire had shrunk to a shadow of its former glory, confined largely to Delhi. The story of Mughal-Rajput relations is not just a story of war. It is also a story of cooperation, cultural fusion, political alliance, and mutual influence. Rajput generals helped expand the Mughal Empire to its greatest heights. Mughal emperors incorporated Rajput customs, architecture, and artistic traditions. Royal marriages built political bridges. Together, they shaped the cultural identity of the subcontinent. At the same time, this is also a story of powerful clashes, legendary battles, and fierce pride. The Rajputs fought the Mughals with unmatched courage whenever their honor was challenged. The Mughals fought to consolidate their empire using strategy, diplomacy, and sometimes overwhelming force. Two great powers continuously negotiated the boundaries of authority, identity, and survival. Even today, the legacy of Mughal-Rajput interactions lives on. Their forts, palaces, monuments, paintings, festivals, and historical narratives remind us of a time when politics was a delicate balance between alliances and war, between diplomacy and power. Their story teaches us that empires do not rise or fall because of strength alone. They rise when alliances are strong, and they fall when trust is broken. The Mughal-Rajput relationship remains one of the richest and most complicated political chapters of Indian history, and its influence continues to shape the cultural and historical memory of South Asia.